Okay, so now as if stem changing verbs weren't difficult enough, we're going to look at our irregulars in the present subjunctive tense. I is used, I becomes aya in the present subjunctive, and these are the irregulars that you're going to have to memorize right here. Dar, whoops. You're going to need to memorize dar, estar, ir, saber, and ser. Okay, there's those are the irregulars. They're just completely irregular, and you're just gonna have to put them to memory. So dar becomes de, des, de, demos, des, den. Estar is este, estés, este, estemos, estés, esten. Ir is vaya, vayas, vaya. Vayamos, vayáis, vayan. Saber, sepa, sepamos, sepáis, sepan. And ser, sea. Seamos, seáis, sean. Okay? And like I said, whoops, like I said before, I is aya. Okay? So let's do some practice. Okay, so here we go. Mi hijo quiere que yo blank al parque con él. So he wants that I go to the park with him, which would be ir. We're choosing between these irregular forms. So if I put in ir, okay, so mi hijo quiere que yo is for whom I'm conjugating, okay? So ir for yo is vaya. So that's what I'm actually going to write in here. Okay. El profesor nos recomienda que he's recommending that we blank muy bien el capítulo 9. So the professor is recommending that we know it very well, I would assume, because, you know, he's telling us what we need to study, which is saber, okay? So if it's for nosotros, so he's recommending to us that we know, the saber for nosotros would be sepamos, okay? Roberto quiere que el mesero le... Okay, so él quiere que el mesero le blank un refresco, probably dar, give him a soft drink, because he's thirsty. So if we've got dar here, for el mesero, it would be de. Okay, Susana quiere que sus hijos blank en casa para cenar. She wants them to be at home, estar. If it's for they, she wants that her kids, they are at home. Estar for they is estén. So I'm going to take that off. Estén. Tus padres quieren que tú blank piloto, ¿verdad? Your parents want you to be a pilot, so that would be ser. Okay, ser for tú would be seas. Siempre les pido a mis amigos que no me blank regalos. Don't give me gifts. Who we don't want to give me gifts are my friends. So you're conjugating for your friends. Okay, which would be dar. Dar for friends, or they would be den. Okay. Anita quiere que mi esposo y yo, so she wants that my husband and I, or we, blank a la fiesta con ella esta noche, probably go, right? Ir. And if it's my husband and I, or we, ir for we would be vayamos. Vayamos. Ricardo busca una novia. Quiere que blank alta, rubia, e inteligente. Who does he want to be alta, rubia, inteligente? The girlfriend. Okay, so we want her to be ser, and ser for ella would be sea, okay? Deseo que mis hijos, I hope, or I want that my kids, I want that my kids know that I love them a lot. So we would put in saber. Saber for them would be sepan, right? Because here's saber, and we would go down here for they. Deseamos que blank paz en el mundo. So we hope that there is peace. There is would be I, and remember I becomes haya. So you would say, deseamos que haya paz en el mundo. Okay. Quiero que vosotros blank un paseo conmigo. Remember, dar un paseo is to take a walk. So if it's for vosotros, dar for vosotros would be des. So quiero que vosotros des un paseo conmigo porque hace muy buen tiempo. No quiero que tú blank nervioso cuando hablas conmigo. I don't want you to be nervous, which would be estar, okay? For tú, that would be tú estés. Okay, and I didn't circle those, so I'll go back. You're conjugating for vosotros, and you're conjugating for tú. Okay. All right, so let's look at the very last thing. We're pretty much done with our subjunctive, just general uses. The subjunctive occurs in the dependent clause in a compound sentence and is generally preceded by the K. So the subjunctive is after the K part. The expression in the main clause determines whether to use the subjunctive or the indicative in the dependent clause. The three most common types of expressions that call for the subjunctive in Spanish are those that express influence, emotion, doubt, or denial. Okay, and we're going to go over in subsequent lessons what each of these mean and how you can determine whether you should be using subjunctive or not. All of these imply uncertainty, and that's your biggest clue. If there's uncertainty in your sentence, that's when you're using the subjunctive, because the action has yet to occur or is outside of the speaker's experience, meaning that they're wanting someone else to do something. Well, you don't know if it's going to happen if you wanted to, because you can't make that happen. That's dependent on someone else doing it. So, insisto en que mi novio visite Cartagena. So this is an example of it because I'm insisting that my girlfriend visits there, but that's outside of the speaker's experience because I'm doing the insisting, but I don't know if it's happened. I don't know if it's going to happen. There's some doubt that it's going to happen because it's dependent upon another person actually doing that. Sientes que nuestra madre no pueda ir. You're sorry our mother can't go. Es dudoso que el guía nos lleve a la catedral. So es dudoso, that's doubt. It's doubtful that our guide will take us to the cathedral. If there's no change of subject, like queremos viajar al extranjero, if I said we want that our parents travel abroad, then we're going to end up using subjunctive because it's outside of our experience. But if we're saying we want to travel abroad, then you just use the infinitive. The subjunctive only happens if there's a change in subject from the main clause to the dependent clause.